You asked, and I'm happy to oblige. So, hello, my fellow narcissistic, abused family. And for anyone suffering with autoimmune diseases, you have my heart. Anyone with MS, you're watching this, obviously, and it's brutal, man. It is such torture. It's mentally just, it's like mental warfare. It's like you think you're okay, but your body's like, no, you're not. Anyway, so I'm making this, and I cannot get through this without thanking you, Natalie. If you're watching, thank you with my heart. I can't even, like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Natalie recommended that I look in, or actually, excuse me, that I watch this documentary that was on Amazon Prime. It was called Living Proof. Game changer. Game changer. So I was diagnosed with MS like 20 years ago. I was 20 years old, about to turn 21. And I was, I guess blissfully ignorant at the time. I had no idea the battle that was ahead, the lows, just the physical, brutal, terrible stuff that was on the horizon. But anyway, and I had nobody supporting me, of course, because I came from a toxic family and toxic parents, so I was on my own. So I started doing my own research. I love Barnes & Noble, the bookstore, whatever. So I went and I gathered a whole bunch of MS books. And one of the books that I had picked up was about the Swank Diet. And back then it was just me, I was fending for myself. I was living with my girlfriend. So no problem. I was living by the Swank Diet. And I was doing okay. I had no idea, what not doing okay looked like. So I was like, all right, I'll do this. Like, no big deal. And I was eating like tofu, all kinds of stuff that I never dreamed that I would be eating. And growing up in a narcissistic home, nutrition and eating healthy was never taught to me. My narcissistic mother could never be bothered with preparing food and whatnot. Like, we lived on like hot dogs and, frozen stuff, whatever. Like, spaghetti, carbs, she could not be bothered with actually caring for her children, her family. So, the Swank Diet is what I started out with. And I was doing okay with it, but I abandoned that at some point because I was young and I had no idea. I did not appreciate how important my diet and nutrition was. So I watched this Living Proof documentary. It was an emotional roller coaster, I'm not gonna lie. Like, my initial response was, I was so, like, pissed because it's just such a downer, man. Like, anything pertaining to MS is like a real gut punch. It's sad. It's too much, It's just, it was sad. It was upsetting. So I went through that. I was like, ugh. But deep in my heart, I was like, there's something to this. Which is kind of what, like, I was waiting and waiting for him to come out with like a solution that was like an easy quick fix kind of a thing. And that wasn't the point of the documentary. The point is that you need to make an entire lifestyle change, which entails your diet. And I was like, oh, dang it, that is not what I was looking for. But so it is. So, I mean, goodness, the guy that made the documentary, that founded this whole movement with his dad, the MS, Matt Embry, And his father is a doctor, scientist. Like, they know their stuff. They know what they're talking about. So I printed out I went to the website finally. I printed out the Diet Cookbook type of thing. It's like 200 something. It's huge. It's like this thick. 200 something pages. I did not print it at home. Don't waste your ink or your paper. If you so happen to have resources at your work or something of that nature, that would be a good place to print it. But anyway, so I printed out this diet and I'm looking over it, and I'm very like cerebral, analytical. I have to know why. Like, I'm too, I don't know, inquisitive kind of a thing. I have to know why. Like, if you're telling me to do something, why am I doing it? So I was reading this diet. It's incredible. I love that they explain everything. So you're supposed to avoid corn, dairy, wheat, soy. What else? Like yeast? I don't know. I have it down, man. I have this book, as I said, printed out. It's on my kitchen table right now. And I really went through it. And here's the thing. This is where my frustration lied. Like, I felt like I've done every diet under the sun and nothing ever helped. I've gone gluten-free before. I'm sure at some point I went dairy-free. I do love cheese, though. But that's another story. So, and I love bread, too. But I've done these diets at different times, like avoiding gluten or avoiding dairy. But I was like, wow, I've never done these all at the same time. Never given up gluten and dairy at the same time. And the beauty of it all is that since I've done it, I have an idea of what I can and can't eat. I know what other alternatives are, especially with, like, you know, soy sauce. Soy sauce is delicious, but you can have coconut aminos or tamari. Tastes like the same thing. It's just healthier for you. So no problem with that. So I started it. It'll be a week tomorrow. And during this time, I've had a urinary tract infection because sadly it's something that I did deal with frequently. Thanks to my husband, he found this incredible supplement online. It's called Uqora, Uqora. Game changer, another game changer. It really, like, I was getting urinary tract infections like every other week or every 2 weeks, whatever, and this stopped that. Like, this is my first legitimate urinary tract infection this year, and it's going to be June. I mean, that's pretty darn good compared to what I was dealing with before. But anyway, so it's been a weekend. Like, in spite of me having an infection, I've been doing pretty good. Like, I'm excited to see what happens. Like, I was like, I can do this. I can do anything for like a month or whatever, you know, give it a whirl. And this guy, Matt Emery, that has been doing the diet since he was diagnosed at the same time as me, and he's running. I used to run. I used to be very athletic. I was a lifeguard. I played volleyball in college, all kinds of stuff. Like, running was my jam. And not to it, like, it's been so long since I've done any of those things. It really, you know, it's just, you just get so broken emotionally. But I'm trying that. I'm trying this diet. So I'm going to keep you updated, obviously. But I'm really excited about it. It's like, for the first time in 20 years, I feel like, okay, I can do this. I feel like I have some semblance, some sort of control, I'll say. Like, I feel like I can do something, you know, instead of being, you know, just flopping or just flapping in the breeze, just taking what, you know, doctors have to offer. It's like, I can actually do something, and I'm really excited about it. I've done everything for him. I've done mitoxantrone, which is a chemotherapy. Done Cellcept with it, which is a chemotherapy. I did Rebif. I did IVIG infusions. I did Tysabri. I did Ampera to help with walking. You name it, I've taken it. So this is very exciting. And as Matt Embry says, all of these drugs that are available, there's no guarantee. Like, maybe they'll slow progression, but there's nothing that will help you. And another thing I love that he said was, like, I'm not against conventional medicine when it works. So if they ever come out with something that works, I will be there, front and center. But until that day, this is what we have to do. And I love him on Instagram as well. Like today, he was like, you have MS, get over it. Get moving. Like, you feel sorry for yourself because this is not an easy road, but for whatever reason, we're on it. So let's just do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. I can do this, you can do this, we can do this. Changing my diet, it's pretty extreme, for anybody on the outside, like, oh my god, you can't have dairy, you can't have gluten, whatever. Like, we eat a lot of junk. If you haven't noticed, just sit back and see what you eat in a typical day. It's not good. The chemicals, the genetically modified ingredients, etc. I mean, shopping in the perimeter of the supermarket is a good thing. You're eating whole, good foods. And I like that he said you can have fruits and vegetables. Fruit has sugar. I try to stay away from sugar because I know that it causes inflammation. But I was living on, like, Diet Snapples and Diet Dr. Pepper. Not anymore. I haven't touched a drop in a full week. I'm having, like, unsweetened, decaffeinated iced tea with lemon. I know it sounds boring. But I also use monk fruit. I did ask if that's okay. I'm not sure if it is. It's natural. It's not an artificial sweetener. But I love me some sugar. But that's where I'm at. I'm super excited. So there's something we can do to help ourselves. And if you look up the ms.com, I think it is mshope.com, it is such a wealth of information. As I said, I really appreciate they explain everything. Why you can't have dairy, why you can't have gluten. It's because when you ingest these foods, your body, like, there's certain proteins that cause this reaction in your body to attack your nervous system, your immune system, whatever. It stinks. It stinks that we're in this position, but we are. It is what it is. Let's deal with it and get moving. Love that. Love that attitude and that approach. So that's where I am at. Stay tuned for some fabulous updates. I'm trying to get out of this stupid wheelchair, man. It's really not where I want to be. So, I love you guys. And Natalie, thank you. Thank you. Stay tuned. I'll be back.